Full disclaimer, this is my biased, opinionated review of Guild Wars and why it is the best game I have ever played. I am not paid by ArenaNet or NCSoft to say this. This is just me praising a video game that I love and that has withstood the test of time. A quick Google search will show you Guild Wars was first released in 2005. So you may be thinking to yourself, is this game still alive, and if so, for how long? The answer to that question is yes, and indefinitely. Which brings me to the first reason why I love this game so much in 2023. Honestly, I returned to the game in 2022, but when I'm making this video, it's 2023. Anyway, this game is almost 20 years old, and it's an online MMO RPG, where the creators have come out and said the servers will stay up indefinitely because it costs them little to nothing to maintain. I believe all games should be available for all time. I also understand why this isn't possible. But with older games, which were mostly offline, this is true as long as you kept the hardware in good condition. Nowadays, however, I see so many games go for this online-only model because they want a consistent, healthy player base to keep making money. The downside to that is when the game flops or dies over time, and only a very small niche group of fans remain playing it. Since the creators are no longer making the amount of money that they would like, and it costs money to run, they shut down the servers and the game becomes forever unplayable. This might be the most tragic events in the game industry that I see today, and if you've experienced it, you may also agree. But okay, let's get back on track. For a game I initially went back to for nostalgia, and to find out the servers would remain up indefinitely, I was ecstatic. I could relive the good old days and not worry about losing access. I originally played Guild Wars when I was younger because I couldn't convince my parents to pay a subscription for a video game, aka World of Warcraft. Guild Wars, being similar to WoW, is an online MMO, but it has no subscription fee. Purchase the game as a single transaction and you can play the entire game forever. That's why I like to refer to Guild Wars as the poor man's WoW. Another thing that makes this game amazing is that it is old. It was created in an age where pay-to-win, loot boxes, battle passes, and limited time content did not exist, so you don't have to worry about any of this. Yes, some content is time-gated around events like holidays, however these happen every year, so you just have to wait until the next year to play through them again. It's not like they are gone forever. But let's get back to the game being alive. There is a community that still exists in this game. I believe it is mostly older millennials like myself who are sick of the new monetization model games released with nowadays and realize we can go back and play or replay old great games that still hold up today. Granted, the community is not large compared to other games nowadays, but plenty of guilds and alliances exist and have Discord groups to support them and help communication between members. This allows for organization for difficult endgame PvE content and PvP. It is also possible to form a group in-game without using a guild or Discord. You just have to chat in a populated area where players hang out and see if you can reel any in to join you. Daily quests and weekly bonuses rotate, so focusing on the current quest/bonus will probably increase your chances of finding a group. All of the players in my guild are very nice and helpful, especially the guild leader. That being said, this game is on the internet, and toxic people do exist. They are unavoidable. You will run into them at some point, even in games with small communities. In my opinion, Guild Wars does not have microtransactions, although some people may argue this because you can purchase additional cosmetic costumes, storage space, and character slots. I do not consider these microtransactions. They are more like add-ons, and they are not necessary. The first two expansions of Guild Wars are each standalone campaigns and not a true expansion. The only true expansion is the third one, Eye of the North. This content assumes you have completed at least one of the campaigns and your character is max level 20. Another add-on is the bonus mission pack. This pack includes 4 missions focused on stories of historical figures in the Guild Wars lore. It's not necessary, but I purchased it and played through it and I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I recommend it. As a reward for completing these missions, you get access to unique weapon skins, which I think is totally worth it. Another add-on I would like to mention but do not utilize is the mercenary system. You can spend money to allow one of your characters to become a mercenary, and you can use them like a hero. So if all of your account characters are mercenaries, you can create an entire team of your own characters, even though you are only directly playing as one. However, with them as heroes, you can still give them commands and micromanage them. This system, although costing more money, makes the game more accessible to play solo. I believe any MMO that has solo access deserves praise because all MMOs age, and eventually the player base falls. Allowing solo accessibility keeps the game alive longer and opens the game to more players. If you are interested in playing Guild Wars, I recommend buying the complete collection with all expansions and the bonus mission pack. Don't forget, I am biased. I love this game. The base game of Guild Wars and each of its expansions have a campaign, aka storyline. Each campaign varies in length, and honestly, Nightfall is the best. Prophecies is very long, 25 missions, and there's a ton of explorable areas in between. There is no lack of content here. Factions is super short compared to Prophecies, about half the length, only 13 missions. Nightfall, however, falls in between these two for length. 20 missions, a lot less explorable areas than Prophecies, which I think is perfect. Nightfall has the best storyline and introduced the hero system. I recommend starting with Nightfall. In this day and age, because unlocking and building the heroes acquired through the story mode will make playing solo much easier. Although if you want to start on the other campaigns, there is a point in the map where you unlock a port city that will allow you to travel to the other continents. So even if you start in Prophecies or Factions, you can eventually travel to Alona to grab some heroes. Last but not least is the quick story mode of Eye of the North. The Eye of the North campaign is by far the shortest, only about 9 or 10 missions, and the story is fairly interesting. However, Eye of the North story is not the main focus of the expansion, and it merely acts as an introduction and progression to unlocking all the dungeons. Which brings us to the real expansion of Guild Wars. Oh, sweet dungeons. I don't think you can start a character in the Eye of the North. It's been a long time since I started a character, but you can start a character in any other campaigns and then run them to Eye of the North. I did this with my Mesmer, and it's possible to play through Eye of the North without being max level. However, it is quite difficult, and you will struggle a bit. After you complete at least one campaign, welcome to the endgame. Completing a campaign will unlock hard mode for that content for all characters on your account. This includes the hard mode version of all the missions and vanquishing for all the explorable areas. Vanquishing involves killing all enemies within an instance area without leaving on hard mode. Aside from hard mode, of all the content you already played, you can get access to elite missions / areas. Prophecies has 4: Underworld, Fissure of Woe, Tomb of Primeval Kings, and Sorrow's Furnace. Factions has 2: The Deep and Urgaz's Warren. Nightfall has 1: The Ebony Citadel of Malix, which includes multiple quests, so it feels like more than one. And Eye of the North doesn't have any elite missions, but you get the hard mode version of every dungeon, so you don't really need an elite mission. The main part of endgame content is title collecting. There are lots of titles in this game, and it takes a long time to grind them out, but man is it enjoyable when you get them. Everything you do in Guild Wars is related to a title in some way. Most titles are acquired by completing all endgame content in a certain category. The real achievement is acquiring the title God walking amongst mere mortals, which involves maxing out 20 title tracks. I am currently working towards this and have been periodically streaming my adventures on my Twitch channel, Derail17. Now some titles are account based instead of character based and will take a lot of playtime to max out. This makes sense because it unlocks the title for all characters, assuming you have played through the game with multiple characters. Lastly, I'd like to give a little praise to the PvP of Guild Wars. Arguably one of the best PvP experiences in an MMO during its prime. I was shocked to find you can still PvP in 2023. Guild Wars has multiple PvP modes, and PvP requires other real players. You can't do it solo with like mercenaries or heroes and stuff. So you have the Codex Arena and Random Arenas are on life support. Nobody really plays these. It's very rare. The lobby area exists, but it's like I said, it's very rare to find players. So you're better off just avoiding these. All other PvP modes are very much playable, however. The community will organize PvP lobbies for Heroes Ascent, Alliance battles, Guild vs. Guild, Fort Aspenwood, and Jade Quarry. Jade Quarry is the least popular of all of these, but can still be played from time to time, especially if it's a bonus weekend or the daily Zaishin combat. Guild vs. Guild and Alliance battles are rare because they involve more players, so organization requires more effort, but it does still happen. Fort Aspenwood and Heroes Ascent are the most popular. Fort Aspenwood is more accessible for casual PvP since you can't form parties. You have to queue up and get randomly partied with other players in the lobby. This being PvP, some people will help you and give advice while other people will complain about how bad you are at the game. But finally, Heroes Ascent is the most active and most difficult PvP mode in Guild Wars. This is where the real competition is. You can enter with henchmen, but any group with a full party of real players will be impossible to beat. This mode is where PvP guilds go to compete the most because this mode offers the best rewards. My guild leader organizes teach runs in which he brings in noob players and educates them on different character playstyles and builds. Personally, this is how I learned to get better at PvP. PvP is not my focus when playing MMOs, but having someone to guide and teach you the ways makes it an enjoyable experience. That's all I have to say about Guild Wars. The game is still amazing, alive, and well. It warms my heart knowing I can go back and relive old games such as this whenever I like. That's why I give Guild Wars a 10 out of 10 in 2023. I highly recommend buying and playing this game. Thanks for watching.